This time on the Empire, we drag out all of the cars we plan on driving this season. And let me tell you, it is more than we've ever had on the road at one time than ever before. Now we're gonna go over everything that we need to get done on these cars and everything we need to check before we hit the streets. Not only that, we're gonna talk about some of the things you guys should do on your car to make sure that it is cruise season ready. All right, here we are, guys, back in the Iron Empire, and we're going to be talking about car meets, car cruises this year. I am really excited. You know why I'm excited? We finally have some sunshine, and although it was a reasonably mild winter, it always feels like it goes forever. Pretty cold, not ideal for cruising, but now coming into spring, we're starting to get some real nice days, and it's getting me amped up. I thought, you know what, I need to get some cars out, and we're gonna get these things cruise ready for this upcoming car season, we'll call it. Now, first of all, you'll probably notice I am looking rough. I've got some shit going on my eyes. I can't, it's been bad, but we'll push through. If I'm looking a bit rough around the edges, don't worry about that. We are gonna be looking at all the cars that we're gonna get out this year and get them cruise ready. For those of you who'd seen, we recently picked up the bagged F100. That needs some vital sign gauges sorted out. I need to get some, at very least, a temperature gauge and maybe an oil gauge, so we can make sure that we are not doing any damage when we get out and about, especially temp. We gotta have temperature gauge, a very minimum. We're gonna get the Bronco out. Obviously, we've got a little bit of rust to do, but we might get some wheels on this thing, get this thing all cleaned up so it's one step closer to hitting the streets. The VN, nothing's happening there. The Doom Sled, that's not going to be happening this season. Not into it. We got Andrea's Tirana. Now, as you can see, I haven't even changed the stockies back off that thing since we done our video like a month or so ago when we put the new True Track center in this thing. So we're going to swap the wheels with the new tires with the 245s under the arse end of this thing. If you haven't seen the video on how we done the mini tubs and the True Track LSD diff on that, go back and check that out on the channel. We should probably get that out this weekend. We've got the HJ, we might give that a clean up. That pretty much just needs, we got a leak in the brakes, the front brake. I can see it right here leaking. So we'll just top that up and try and find where that is. I've got a feeling where that is. We've got the LTD over here. We got some stuff we want to get ready for this season because we're already getting excited. It's going to be a good one. And especially coming up this weekend, we've got a big one. All right. Okay, so one of the things we absolutely have to get onto is this freaking Bronco. So I've done so much work getting the interior to where it is, but we're not quite there yet. We're close, but we're not there. We'll do a little bit more on this interior before we put these door cards on. Got to paint a little bit around these arse end, of course, fix that rust in the rear. Honestly, good couple of weekends we'll have this job done. Another thing is this, we got some dodgy wiring here, but it does give it some juice. It does fire up really nice. Takes a little while to warm up. It needs a good run basically, but this thing has turned into a pretty turnkey car, so I'm pretty happy with that. I'm really looking forward to getting this thing out on the road. We've got some new Bathurst globes to get on this thing. I'd nearly done it today, but I thought, you know what? We'll make an episode of this yet again, finish off this interior, bolting these seats in, you know, get the window channel in so I can get the window up and down on this driver's side and just get this thing one step closer because honestly, we think we're going to drive the wheels off this thing in summer. We've set this thing up so we can throw the dogs in the back. I wouldn't mind sorting out the air conditioning. It's got factory air on this car. And yeah, I think this could be a really cool thing. But of course, it's just time. It's all time, guys. So anyway, we'll just get this thing out. We're going to pull the cars out. We're going to clean and get a bit of a list on all of them. And then we are going to basically we're going to get car show ready. The F100, I mentioned in my video that I recently done, that needs, we'll talk about this one as well, we're right here. This needs some tinkering when it comes to the ride. In the rear end is not right. It needs the shocks to be adjusted. It needs, once again, gauges in it. The gas needs sorting. It doesn't run great. It actually runs quite well. It doesn't start great. It's not reliable in starting. And that's pretty much all it needs really to be a sort of a pretty reliable cruiser, I'll say. I don't trust it yet, of course. I'd happily jump in this thing right now and go, I'd go local. I wouldn't go too far, but I'd go local. But I wouldn't want to push it in the warm weather without knowing what that cooling system's like and everything like that. Okay, we got the NL Fairlane here. So this thing has been out in the weather for the last couple of months and I'm feeling pretty bad about it, to be honest with you. But this thing is a good runner. This thing will go off the key, runs beautifully. It does need some air conditioning sorted. So the climate control unit in there is totally knackered and I need someone to help me with it. I've just trying to get into a Sparky that knows their shit has been a bit tricky. So I'll push forward this summer and get that sorted, because the only thing stopping me driving it was basically having air conditioning. And even in the winter, it wasn't great to drive without the climate control, because you couldn't even turn the demisters on or anything. So that was making the NL really hard to deal with. So yeah, we'll get onto that as well. But that's not a biggie. We can jump in that right now and go to Melbourne. Not that I'm interested in going to Melbourne right now. Now the VN, that is definitely not happening this season, I would say. It's for sale. It's been for sale for a long while and it's still for sale. So at the moment I just got it under here undercover. We'll put that back out soon. The reason that's not happening this season, that I think, is that big thing over there, that's what's holding this channel up for the last couple of years. We've been doing some house stuff. We've got some place in the Riverland we've been working on, and lately we've been working really hard on our home. So that has been just chewing up so much time. Not that I'm complaining, it's just the reason the car stuff has slowed down a little bit. All right, we may as well pull this Kingswood out and we'll have a look at what that needs. Okay, so if you haven't noticed already, this video is very much on the fly. We're just going for it. I haven't thought too much about what I'm doing, but the Kingswood has a leak. I lowered this thing, I fixed the brakes, and when I pulled the front spring out, I had an issue with the spring compressor and it bent the soft line going to the front caliper, and I'm pretty certain that is what's leaking because I can see it dripping under the tyre there. So I got next to no brakes, bit of a pump and it'll come up. So that's literally all this thing needs. This is a genuine turnkey car. Bit of choke. This thing has been sitting for, I don't know, we'll call it a few weeks. Haven't disconnected the battery and it will make a liar out of me. Give it a bit of juice. Yeah, that's absolute. If I had given it juice from the get-go, it would have fired straight away. So that was my fault. But this thing is stupidly reliable, very cool. The only thing that does let this thing down, it is a 3 on the tree, 6-cylinder. Not the coolest, but it's honestly, it's not even the 6-cylinder thing, it's just the manual thing. I think I'm showing my age when I genuinely just want to put a car into D and go for it. I mean, it's a bit different if you got a third pedal when you got a V8 or a bit of power, a little bit different, but 202 3 on the tree is not too exciting. But nonetheless, it is a cool car. So we're going to get this thing straight into the wash bay. We'll give this thing a hose off, because this only thing this thing needs is, once again, just got to sort that front brake out and clean it, and this thing is totally cruise ready. Pull Andrea's Tana out. I think we might take this weekend. We've got a really big car show coming up called West Side Revs. Now this show happens every year and it's becoming a really big event. It's more pro street cars, and now that the Tirana's tubbed, we can call it pro street. So yeah, we might get that out this Sunday, hopefully, weather permitting. If it's shitty weather, we'll take something else. All right, so as I said earlier, for those who didn't see this video, we done a couple actually. One mini tubbing this Tirana, the other was doing a shortened small Salisbury factory diff for this thing, but we done a true track center, which essentially converts your stock diff into a very capable diff from what is otherwise a time bomb. So without going down the route of 9-inch conversions or all that sort of stuff, you can get this thing good for about 400 to 450 horsepower, which is going to be plenty for this thing. We then done a third video where we fitted these wheels up with new tread with a bunch more meat on them, and we took it out and done some skids with the stockies on. Now, these we've ended up with a 245/60 15, which doesn't sound huge, but bear in mind this is a mid-sized car, and essentially a 245/60 is sort of a full-size car, sort of tire size. Mark my words, you will not get this size tire on a car like this without the amount of work that I've gone to. All right, let's get this thing on the ground, get it outside, see what we've got to play with. Let me tell you guys, this thing has the most worn bearings you could imagine. The oil pressure is super low, but it is one of the most reliable cars in our fleet, if not the most reliable car in the fleet. It's actually incredible. Okay, so we've got the lineup of cars we're going to take out this summer, and I'm pretty pumped. It's a good mix of Ford and Holden. Unfortunately, we've got no Mopars on the list. All of our Mopars, although they're running, they need some work that I'm not interested in tackling this season. Hopefully you guys can hear me. The wind is actually insane, and it's actually going to bring in a really shitty weekend, which means our car show we were planning on hitting up, the Westside Revs, has actually been cancelled, so we won't be going out this weekend at all. But all is not lost, because sometimes I'm a massive believer that if you were to pick out the car shows you want to go to in the upcoming season and sort of work towards those dates in getting your car ready, so many of my cars would never hit the streets if it wasn't for upcoming car shows. And even if it's not that big a show or that important, it just gets you over the line. And it's so easy to lose motivation or whatever. These are the things that we need to keep our cars on the street. Well, definitely what I need to keep my cars on the street. So another thing I wanted to suggest, obviously you guys know you should be doing all your maintenance, go through, service your cars. If you can't remember the last time you've done it, just do it anyway, because maintenance is always cheaper than repair. And also, especially with a lot of our cars, if you think about the actual things that are kind of cause catastrophic failures to your car, there's pretty much two things that are really going to ruin shit and make it really expensive to fix. That's overheating. So at very least, go get yourself just a cheap temperature gauge. So at very least you can keep an eye on that. And maybe even an oil gauge, because if you lose oil pressure and then you start killing motors, that's obviously irreversible. If you don't know what your volts are, you get a dead alternator, it's not going to kill the car. What you want to do is try and save yourself the heartache of doing some major damage to your cars. So just go through, do what you think it needs to be done to make sure that thing is safe, to make sure you do not kill it, keep it on the road. And yeah, we just want to save all these old cars and do as many Ks as we can. I can't wait to get into that Bronco. That is the biggest project we have to get done for this season, but we got to do it. It's going to be sick. All right, that's it for this time around, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me know what you guys are going to be driving this season. What car shows have you got upcoming in SA that you think we should attend? And even across the country, I think we might be hitting up Drag Challenge. That'll be a good one. And yeah, just get out, get wrenching, and get cruising. We'll see you on the next one. Cheers, guys.